Hey guys, what's up? What's good? How you guys doing? Welcome to the midday edition of Gospel Life News, where we bring you updates concerning music, and that is across the country. My name is Daki, spelled Darki, and then you know it double E. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Gospel Life News. Today we'll begin our news with no. So I like it whenever I'm beginning the news with not Davido, Bonabel, Wizkid, but then another person entirely. So that's why I love the news, especially. Anyways, we'll begin our news with you know him, the man who sold out the O2 and obviously on his way to sell out the Barclays Center. Asake, Mr. Money with the Vibe, the new latest next rated award winner for the Eddies. I kind of feel like the Eddies Award, right? We've not seen pictures of a car thereabouts, and normally the next rated category comes with a car. For Benson, he got a Bentley. For Asake, did they write off the car or something? I kind of feel like the Eddies have like a lot of questions to answer as it concerns the nominations. Anyways, moving on, we saw as I guess speaking to the Billboard News, and on this one, it came out to say it spilled out a whole lot. Trust me. But then one of the eating or the hot point was when he mentioned the fact that he would not do a collaboration with you if he doesn't like you. So basically, he is saying I have to like you first, like your music first, before we can work in the studio, and that explains how him and Davido did that song together because we've seen them hang out like after the event like a couple of times being together, showed bromance and all of that. So it shows that Asake really likes the video and every other artist he has had to work with at one point or the other. Moving on, we saw Walk of Art move to 14 on this week Billboard World Album Chart. It peaked at 4 and has now spent 10 weeks on the chart. An amazing one to Ololade Miyashake on that one. Moving on from this one, we saw Mr. Money with the Vibe have now surpassed 2.4 billion streams in 1 year. Now, this is an amazing numbers, trust me. Having about 2.4 billion streams for an album in a year shows that you are doing it's not just that you're doing something amazing, it's just the fact that it proves more, it puts more spotlight on you that Afrobeat is just that thing. So, what it has to do is this as an upcoming artist, right? Just produce a good song, basically put out a good song, put a good project out, and trust me, it's going to be an amazing one. Because if Ashake can do it, trust me, any other person working in Nigeria can do same thing. Just consistency and hard work will bring all of this his way. So this is a breakdown across 5 DSPs. We have Apple Music for 294 million plus, Spotify for 290 million plus, for Boomplay 409 million, for YouTube we have 699 million, and then for Audiomack we have 544 million. Cumulatively makes about 2.4 billion stream in 1 year. Let me recall that Work of Art had just amassed 1.2 billion in 2 months. That's like so basically, right? Asake is doing, what took Asake like a year to do is taking for the first album, it's taking the same Asake like 2 months to do half of that number. So this is the breakdown. If 1 year gives you 2.4 billion off Mr. Money of the Vibe, and Work of Art is giving you 1.2 billion in 2 months, bro, that's progress. Like that's the height of progress. Trust me. If you want to define progress, define Work of Art, and Asake has done so well for himself. Moving on, we saw for the Barclays Center is happening in 2 days, and obviously tickets are fast selling. Please and please go get your ticket. It's called Mr. Sold Out, and there are no doubt that basically he is going to sell this one out. A bit of difference because it's the US and Afrobeat isn't as strong in the US as the UK, but regardless, all hopes are high that he would sell the Barclays Center out. Moving on, we saw Ashake posting a video yesterday that got everyone talking when it came out to say how to dress like Ashake, and then we saw where it came with a black singlet thingy and a big trouser. Now it showed like that's why like 15 yards to sew a trouser basically, and then we saw where he had to zip up and zipping like so many projects with trousers, but it was so big, like so big, broke the internet. Everyone got talking, people reposted here and there, it was everywhere. And then we saw where he wore his traditional slim fitted shirt, like so tight. I think that's like what he does. He wears like a very tight shirt and a very comfortable, according to him, trousers. And we saw where Instagram themselves came through, liked the post, and also commented on the post. Instagram commented saying styling, and then we saw the love emoji that has fire in it. Now this is the height of greatness, trust me. Now Instagram is a community body that has, and so it's funny how, so this is the breakdown, right? Instagram is never the most followed on Instagram. Ronaldo is, but then they have an amount of followers, basically like strong amount of followers. And then for Instagram to recognize you in their space, bro, that's big. That's big. Like there's no way to define that. It's just greatness. And for Shake, that's a very, very good one for him. It's a content that trended, and trust me, maybe he could just move into content creation because he is getting numbers from his video. Moving on, we saw Shakel linking out or hanging out with the founders of Empire Records at the time with Gazi, the founder, and Tina, the president of Empire at the time. And this was coming after Basito came out with a claim where he said they were not signed to Empire, but then it was cleared out. But we saw Ashake hanging out and chilling with these two pillars of the Empire team. It just shows that, trust me, regardless of what you're saying about these guys, they have a good bond within themselves, talking about Ashake and the Empire team. Moving on, just 1 year ago, Ashake released his groundbreaking debut album, Mr. Money with the Vibe. It also became the highest charting debut album of all time on the Billboard 200 at 66. At the same time, he spent a record 27 weeks at the top on Nigeria's Spotify album chart. Also became the first and only debut album to chart in the UK 22. It has not left the Nigerian Spotify top 10 since release, and obviously the Edis album of the year. Bro, this album is madness. Went everywhere and obviously still doing good for himself, still into on Spotify top 10, and it just paints a picture to you that this guy really did something amazing on that project. Moving on, we saw just after the edits, Tiwa Savage had a tour, continued a tour in the US at the time, and almost everyone at the edits came out to represent at for the Tiwa Savage tour, performed, except Ashake. Ashake didn't come on stage, and people were like, "What really happened?" Because we know that the time you shut down the O2 Arena, Tiwa Savage came to represent the culture for you. So why didn't you do likewise? So maybe it was busy or not. But just so you know, he came out at the end of the show where Ashake, Tiwa was hanging out with Adeshope, and then we saw where he just came and said, Tiwa, congratulations, and ran away. And Adeshiko was shouting, Ashake, like Yoruba, Mars, Salo, don't run. But then he was running. And like, what was chasing Ashake? Like sincerely, really, what was chasing? Because I just said I and maybe shake one or two presses, but then he just said congratulations and started running to the car park. So obviously, Ashake is weird, right? He's so weird, and whatever he does, is his emblem and it has been working for him basically. Once again, congrats to Tiwa Savage on a tour in the US. Moving on, we have Wizkid as the next guy of the news. Recently, we heard what happened over his mom, and trust me, Nigerians are sad about this. And people have been pointing out messages to Wizkid, and hopefully, one of these days, he comes out of this strong and better, mentally ready to face the next phase of his career. Moving on with this. Moving on, we saw Wizkid made the Lagos Delos Edition album has now surpassed 689 million plus stream on Spotify on its way to 1 billion. That's a massive one to Wizkid on that one. At the same time, we saw where Bankole came out to say he shared his experience, right? And then according to him, he said he would prefer to he would prefer so it was a talk about what would you prefer to have, an award or what Wizkid and Skepta did for you at the time. Obviously on the song we saw where Wizkid and Skepta came out and showing up his name, and that was like a real big deal, giving like a shout out. And it's a different vibe when big guys calls your name, right? It just gives you some person will just screen grab that record, right? That part of the song, and that's a ringtone. So Jenny Whiskey call your name is a big deal. And then Macaulay is saying, according to him, he would prefer that moment again than an award because award doesn't give you money, award doesn't give you anything. But then he prefers the fact that Whiskey and Skepta shouted his name, and that was a big deal for him. He would prefer that to an award. At the same time, we saw for the Breakthrough Award, Whiskey has been nominated alongside other guys as the best male artist. And trust me, his fan page are buzzing and people are canvassing for votes for Whiskey. At the same time, we saw where Winco. So at this point, before we get to the news, right? So the fan base of these guys are getting so toxic. Trust me. Winco is from Burna Boy, Basito obviously from Whiskey, and David has a couple of armies for himself. So what people do now is you take your strong guy your team come against another person, and that it's just a back and forth thing here, and it doesn't really make sense basically. But then Winko has come out with an allegation as claimed, not confirmed yet, and it says that Jadapi is using a child with Wizkid as a leverage to keep him. And now it's according to him, that's a statement from Wizkid staff member and a dancer in the music video for the song Joro. So this is the conversation. Using our children as leverage to keep a man down, so stupid. Even when I have a old man at home, she's threatening. It really affected me so bad at the time, and so only now I have the strength to let the real Joro fans know what happened, and it's so sad. Sending love to anyone hurting over this industry, people who seek to destroy real art and real passion. Joro is one of the most successful and most viewed Afro video of all time. Is that true? It just down to me like this. Calm down somewhere, right? And I feel like calm down as a record, basically. Anyway, so he said, I gave my heart and soul to it instead of embracing that and building on it. A jealous woman who booked me originally for the video, done her best to bend to book originally for the video, done her best to stop magic from flowing, and that I can never understand. It is literally giving Elvis Presley manager in real time, and please, Shade Bro, don't come for me, lol. Wiz wanted to work with me again. We spent a few times in the studio listening to new tracks, and he wanted me to perform at the O2 on Joro, but it was stopped in his track by a certain manager out of jealousy. I wonder what other arts and pure chemistry she asked seafood for him. Now, this is alarming because like I said, these are allegations, right? So it is true. So we can confirm how true this is. We have to take it as an allegation and allegedly. But then she has come out with a big claim saying Jada P, she's insecure and then she's very, very protective of Wizkid. And Wizkid wanted to work with her again. But then Jada P made sure that that deal didn't pull out. Now, this is the lady, if you remember this lady, she was the one on the Joro video at the time that went viral when it was released. Is this true or not? Let's wait and see what the coming days hold for these guys. Moving on, we have Odumodublvck, the most. This is like one of the craziest guys I've ever in the industry. Amazing guy, doing good for himself. We saw over the Edis Awards, he got into one himself he won himself the Rookie of the Year and obviously for the Best Rap Album of the Year. And then Odumodu came out to say, "This one is for everyone, Yahweh boys." And for the Rookie of the Year, we saw he got himself a two-bedroom apartment in the heart of Lagos, and that's a massive one. Two things for him was the fact that first, that was his first time in the USA, and at the same time he came out to say, how would he had afford an apartment in Lagos if not for the Eddies? But the breaking point is this: how would the Rookie of the Year have an apartment and the next rated is not giving anything? At least for now, we're not sure if he had anything. And this moving on, we saw Odumodu linking up with Wale, an amazing guy at the time, one of the most, I think it's one like that, was one of the hottest guy at the time, amazing guy doing good for himself, some 10, 15 years back and all of that. But then Odumodu has been seen hanging out with Wale in the studio, and then he came out to say Ezioku is coming. So the big question is, are you going to feature Wale on that song? Because if you have that thought in your mind, trust me, it's going to be a big, big one, and we all can't wait to see what Odumo and Wale will do on Ezioku. We all are waiting for that one, trust me. At the same time, we have Yemi Alade as the last lady on the news. We saw when she announced a world tour which began on the 25th of May and ended on the second day of September. And obviously, she added more dates to it, which ended yesterday. And Yemi has been amazing on her tours, doing good for herself. And like I say, every good thing must surely come to an end. We've seen Love That Many come and go. We've seen a lot of tours come and go. And this time, Yemi Alade tour has just ended. She came out to say, "Thank you, God, for the journey mercies and a successful tour through 22 venues, 18 countries in less than 3 months." Now, I feel like that's amazing, right? And that's like the height of job. Like, that's the height of stress. Like, bro, you're working like back to back. In 3 months, 3 months has about 90 days, basically 90 days. And then you're doing about 18 countries in 90 days. So you are doing about I think like 3 days in between or 2 days, 2.5 days in between. It's just it's bonkers, and it just shows that the ladies are not even relenting. They are putting the effort, the job, the energy, and little no wonder we understand where Esther was coming from when she said she would never appreciate the ideas because they put in effort into this job and make sure that they have the best of results. The matter they just proved that on at all. She went further saying, in less than 3 months, thank you to the team that makes dreams come alive, the African Train, my amazing talented band of musicians, fashion, dancers, engineers, assistants, managers, visual captures crew, fashion, hair, makeup, and custom art flyers, as well as every single person in the audience. Thank you. to the booking agents, festival organizers, and my family that came out this year for the official African Bad Girl Tour 2023 Phase 1. Stay blessed. Now, is Yemi not amazing? Because this is just the Phase 1, and then she is saying there would be a Phase 2. At this point, I think she needs like a lot of sleep and a lot of catching up to do. But then it just shows that Afrobeat is big and the sky is big enough for anyone to fly. For Yemi Alade, the Phase 1 just came to an end, and then she's so grateful for a successful world tour. 18 countries in 3 months, 22 venues. Trust me, that is the height of breakthrough. And then we're waiting to see what the Phase 2 we have for us. And in the meantime, we've come to the end of this one. And trust me, before the day runs out, we'll come back to your faces to give you guys another session of news. I love you guys so much. Please take care of yourself.